Alright, so we'll go over some of your homework problems. So, taking a look on page 581, it's actually on page 582, but I asked you to do 22 to 30. Alright, so 23 sticks out as a good looking problem. 23, it says 1 over m plus 2 minus 1 over 3 minus m is equal to negative 1 over 6. Alright, now for this, we've seen these kind of problems before, where if a denominator looks like it's switched, if we switch it back, we could factor out a negative 1. So that's what I'm going to do. One way we could do this is we could use the LCD of m plus 2 times 3 minus m. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's probably the way most of you did it. Another way we could do it is we could rewrite this 1 over m plus 2, and then minus 1 over negative m plus 3. I just switched those around. And then I could take another negative out. So if we wanted to do it this way, these could actually cancel. And we could use this as the problem, where the LCD would be 6 times m plus 2 times m minus 3. Now, no matter which way you do, you'll get the right answer. I'd imagine most of you did it like this. So that'll be the way that I do this, but I just want to show you alternative ways here. Alright, so I'm going to multiply everything by that LCD, and I'm going to be very careful I don't miss anything. So let's see here. While I'm doing this, it's going to be a lot of writing. I don't know if any of you ever saw that Netflix series called Heartland. It's like a cowboy Hallmark movie. Really, really corny, really cheesy, but I'm like totally not hicked. I'm totally addicted to it. And I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but that's been something I've been watching lately. Alright, so let's see here. I'm making mistakes thinking about Heartland here. It's good. Alright, so let's see here. These would cancel. This is kind of like a fun part, I think, where you cancel out what you're multiplying and dividing by. So we just wind up with 6 times 1 times 3 minus m. And then minus 6 times m plus 2 is equal to negative 1 times m plus 2 times 3 minus m. This would be 18 minus 6m. Minus 6m minus 12 is equal to minus, this would be 3m minus m squared plus 6 minus 2m. So let's clean things up. If we get everything on the same side here. And factor, rhymes with tractor. We get m is negative 12 and we get m is 1. Alright, so let's see if I did that right here. This was problem number 23, negative 12 and 1. And neither of those would make the denominators equal to 0. And by the way, these people in Heartland, they say neither, they say neither. So I don't know if you guys talk like that, but I thought that was kind of funny. Alright, what else do we have to do here? 22 to 30. So that one looked pretty good. I asked you to omit 24. I'll do 26 and 30. And I think that'll... maybe I'll do 26 And then I'll do number 8 on the worksheet. So for number 26, it says 1 over 1 minus x, which looks like what we talked about before, is equal to 1 minus x over x minus 1. Now we could write this as negative x plus 1, and then factor out a negative. So the LCD would be negative times x minus 1. And remember, negative is really just negative 1. If we go ahead and we multiply everything by that, just be careful with all the negatives floating around. These would cancel. These would cancel. You get 1 is equal to negative 1 times x minus 1. We'll do that in a minute. X minus 1's cancel. Plus 1 times x. And it looks like we just get 1 is equal to 1. So for the problem number 26, it gives kind of like a weird answer. The answer looks like this. What that means is the answer, that means answer, is the set of x such that, that's what that straight vertical line means, x isn't equal to 1. That's what that means in English. So the answer is any x you could think of, 5, a million, gazillion, whatever, as long as x isn't equal to 1, because that would make the denominator equal to 0. You could just tell me for this all reals except x can't equal negative 1, because that would make the denominator 0. We'll do one more and then we'll move on to the next lesson. Taking a look at number 8. On the worksheet it says x plus 1 over x minus 3 is equal to 4 minus 12 over x squared minus 2x minus 3. Alright, I'll put the book down here. And to get started, we should factor. And the LCD would be x minus 3 times x plus 1. And if we multiply everything by that, let's see what we get. Alright, so these would cancel. We're going to get x plus 1 times x plus 1. It's going to be 4 times x squared minus 2x minus 3 minus these cancel, 12. Alright, so it's x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 4x squared minus 8x minus 12 minus 12. So we could bring the x squared over, try to get it equal to 0. Bring the 2x over and subtract 1, so that would be minus 25. So we're looking factors of negative 75 that add up to negative 10. Let's see here, 75 would be, alright, I'm going to need a calculator here. 75 divided by 5 is, oh, look at that, 5 and 15. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish it. we get x is equal to 5, and x would equal negative 5/3. I'm going to look at the original problem and just make sure none of our denominators would be 0. So we can't use 3, and we can't use negative 1. And it doesn't look like we get either of those or either if you're from Heartland as an answer. So those would be our answers. All right, so stay tuned for today's lesson.